My guest today is the perfect example of a self-employed creative. You've seen his creations on TV, film, YouTube, live shows, and maybe even on your feet. I'm excited to welcome John Masse.
When you're your own boss and when you're a hyphenate, which is the new word for what we are, we can write copy, we can do voiceovers, we can do animation. I like the fact that every day is different. It's not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then you have 2 days to give to yourself. Then you start that slog again. And on your calendar, you might be able to take a vacation. And that's no life. You're racing your way to the grave doing that. So not for me. I love being a dad. So I want to capture those little teeny moments. And I also can compartmentalize my life. And that's the biggest trick for being a self-employed creative, is that you have to know your hours. You have to know your time. There has to be a familial understanding. And I know for sure from years of experience, you work way more than 40 hours when you work for yourself. You have to be able to call it a day. I don't panic on the slow days. I know my nut, and that's just slang for knowing what the house costs, what the target bill is going to be, what all these pay subscriptions are going to run up, what my health insurance costs. I know what I need to make every month. Everybody should know that. You should always, always know that. And that's your baseline. From there, I can handle my billing. I can handle my goals, my wants, my needs, my desires. I know how to sell myself. I know how to keep the ship running. The creativity comes so freely to so many of us that we suffer from imposter syndrome, that we're like, I shouldn't be getting paid for this. It doesn't cost me anything to draw. I can draw anything in a second. I can think up of a name and a story. I could write a book. Why would I get paid for that? Is that worth anything to anybody? And they're having these existential crises in their own head. And I'm like, think about business first. What are you doing? So Seagulls and Sandwiches goes with that concept of abundance, which is there's so much work out there. We're always like fighting for a job or panicking or nervous for a job. And it's like, no, the work is there. You've got to find the spot on the beach where there are no seagulls, because the sandwiches are some of them are under the sand. Some of them are everywhere, but just you're going to find the place. And the trick is to look for a void, look for a specialty, look for something that you do that no one else does. I created my Float Potato because I remember how amazing Mr. Rogers was when I was a kid. And I remember Captain Kangaroo. And I remember step-by-step drawing shows that I saw as a little kid, which I thought were fascinating. And I didn't see that in the market. I didn't see it anywhere in the world. And I was like, since Mr. Rogers passed, there's no one else that's sort of taken his mantle. And I looked and I realized there's a void. There's a little spot in the YouTuber, influencer, social media world where nobody is teaching kids how to draw, and certainly not in the kind of weird way that I could figure it out. And that's been a wild success. It's really know your strengths and know how much time you could dedicate to your curiosity. And because creative fields tend to serve as adjuncts to other creative fields. For example, I started in apparel design, which involves drawing, which involves copy and typeface. So it was very easy for me to get into advertising from there. Because I was good at drawing, I could get into storyboards. Because I was good at setting up storyboards, I could get into Scenic, right? So now I've got Scenic and design. Then that gets theatrical, but I'm also drawing. And so I can get cartoony, so I can create characters, right? But because I am a character, I could come up with an imaginative story of how that character came to be. And now I'm a writer. So the flow through almost occurs invisibly. It's in the background. It's about completion. It's about finishing what you start. There's no room for procrastination in this world, especially because you do want bigger projects. It's nice to have a day rate. It's nice to have 4 days worth of work. It's nice to have 2 days worth of work. It's really good to permalance, or to be, as soon as this project is finished, they call you right for the next one. And that's where you build that security and that experience, and you really get some momentum behind you. You've got to sell yourself first. Remember that. Not what you do, but who you are. You've got to lean on your clan. You have to know your nut. You have to know what you need to make. If you build it and you break it, you can rebuild it again. So don't be afraid of stuff blowing up in your face, because you got there in the first place. Every little success is proof of concept. Take that, add value to everything you do, and earn a life away from your work. That's all you need to do.